What's going on? What's going on, Rich? Hello, everybody.
Yeah, well, everybody's going to have problems here. So on Restream IO, going to chat, it said the chat is waiting for new messages, and then you go ahead and try to load that up, and it says there's a problem. So I don't know if we're going to have it. We've notified nobody that this is happening, so this will probably be an archive video more than anything, unless Rocky happens to be out there somewhere in the distance.
Yeah, so if you can, go on YouTube, Vantage Point USA on YouTube, and you can chat there. I have no ability to read your chat right now, so I just want to announce that I will not be ignoring your chat. I just can't see it. I'll explain the situation real fast. So first, it's good to be back.
And hello, hold on, let me interrupt you for a second. And hello, Rocky. He is there. Good to see you. Good to see you, brother.
And let me know if my mic's working.
Right now it is.
My mic should be back on.
Yes.
All right, awesome. So welcome, Rocky, and everybody. Please share this out, because I also don't have the ability to share this out right now. But let me explain what's going on. As many of you know, I went away to New York on vacation. Then I was sick with the flu, so it's good to be back. Unfortunately, I canceled AT&T Uverse because they're horrible, and I was sick of paying for a horrible service. So right now, I'm running Zoom to come to you live with Rich on my phone using a hotspot. So I cannot open up another app, and I cannot see your chat. So I do apologize for that.
And that's why he's going to sound occasionally like Max Headroom for all you older people who remember who Max Headroom was.
Yes. Yes, you'll hear us. My lips probably won't match my voice and will sound like tinny or robotic. But here we are. It's great to be back.
Starting 2019 off strong. So yes, hey,
that's right.
And yeah, one of the other reasons why we were off, and I'm glad he's feeling better. Jake was had taken ill around wow, Christmas, New Year's, somewhere in there. And,
yeah, right after that.
Yeah, so that's good. And actually, a little bit of chat is coming through Restream IO. I see.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, I see Rocky's smile face. Hopefully that continues there. So
awesome. Awesome. Later on, I'll try to share the broadcast. I'll open up Periscope, but it's risky. It'll probably knock us off of Zoom, so it might not be worth it. I just really just glad to be back, and I'll tell you what, you take a lot for granted, but when you're sick, you find out, wow, you know, life could be really bad. So
yeah,
prayers to those that are sick right now and recovering, and just good to be back. What do we got going, Rich? A lot of stuff.
The
whole world's on fire.
I was about to say, before I get into the stuff I have, I know you had a. Oh well, hey, I'll tell you one thing. Facebook under fire again. 2 reasons, not just one. First off, I don't know. I'm sure everybody's heard right now that Apple has shut Facebook down on the internal apps. So apparently, what was happening was old Zuckerberg was he was paying $20 a month for people to allow them to load up a sidebar Apple application that would give Facebook full access to that phone. So basically, what happens is, and the target audience was 13 to 17 years old with parental consent, which consisted of nothing more than a checkbox, and then they got all the access. Well, the problem is this: Apple banned any of that type of information gathering from their apps. So Facebook went around that because Facebook has a certification that allows them internally to have apps that you can't get in the App Store for iOS stuff. So now Facebook and Apple are arguing. Facebook says that they shut down the hey, Mike Smith, how's it going? Facebook is saying they shut down the app voluntarily so it wouldn't track information. Apple's like, no, we pulled your certification and license to do it. So now, and the problem for Facebook is internally the employees cannot access these apps that they had on their work phones that they had. So I find that just hugely hilarious.
Right. So you have all these big tech companies fighting over who's going to steal our data faster.
Yeah, you know, and
it's crazy.
And, you know, I guess the lesson to be learned here at tech companies is this: as you try to find ways to gather people's information, you are going to usher in government, big brother on everybody. I mean, it's going to be one of those things where the bad apple ruins it for everybody, because what's going to end up happening is the government's going to come in and say, you can't deal with privacy issues. We need to jump in there. Obviously, the whole Facebook thing with the what was that? The FaceTime.
Well, yeah, of course, FaceTime. You know, now they're having a glitch with a bug, which is they're being sued now because they actually knew about it 2 weeks ago.
Wow.
So now they're being sued because, for those of you who don't know, if you have FaceTime, you can call somebody else with FaceTime and they don't even need to answer the phone, and you can listen to every conversation they're having without them even knowing. So it's not good.
Yeah, I was telling Jake, I said, how many relationships did this ruin? Oh, there's that guy Greg trying to call me. He's such a loser. He keeps bothering me at the bar. I talked to him one time. Now I can't get it. Or industrial secrets. I mean, there's, who knows? Right. And once again, another reason I never have and never will have Facebook, because, yeah, wow. So
now, I don't know if it's FaceTime connected to Facebook.
I don't know. I don't know what I've never used it.
I never used it, so.
Yeah.
We use it Zoom, so.
Yeah, we use Zoom, so that's how they're tracking us.
Right. So as far as we know, you probably could do the same thing on a Zoom meeting. I do know people used to go live with Zoom. Go ahead, Rich.
I was just going to say, on one technical note, the way that they're doing this, going back to the Apple Facebook thing, they were having people load a VPN, a virtual private network, that was pretty much off grid, that they were tracking this information, which is a intermediary, which is why if you track me, it looks like I'm in Israel right now. So yeah, they were tracking through a VPN on this. But go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, well, real quick, if anybody just joined, welcome. This is Vantage Point. My name is Jake, and that is Rich. I want to just say this again. I cannot see any chat at all, so please forgive me. I'm not ignoring you. Rich is trying to keep an eye on chat, but he's running everything over there. We're kind of running on a, a very small system here. I'm running Zoom off of a hotspot. So I'm afraid to open up any other apps or it's going to crash it. So until we get my internet worked out, this is what you get.
Yeah.
This is it.
And right now, FaceTime is an Apple product, I believe. Mike Smith is putting it on the chat. So appreciate that. Yeah. So, and guys, they better police themselves, because, and I don't know if anybody's been noticing, but every time that I am on a device and I try to go and follow a link for a news source, now it seems like more than ever, there's this thing about the cookies policies. And if you want to go on reading this article, you have to agree to the cookies policy. Of course, I get right out of that. No.
I've noticed that too. It's like, I'm glad you pointed that out. I noticed it, but I never, even thought twice about it. And isn't that scary?
Yeah, it is.
Like, oh, they're just asking for more info, and you hit no. Meanwhile, they're going to do it anyway.
They're good. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. So crazy stuff. So anyway, do want to give a shout out here. I'm going to toss up a picture here. For those who have been following the show, they know we support the Mission 22 hiking project. Here is Stephen and Tyler at Mount Mitchell, the highest peak east of the Mississippi River at 6684. Colder than the Witch's Brawl, because this thing right here, it was minus whatever. So shout out to them, bringing awareness to the veteran suicide rate. I know that Matt, another friend of theirs, was there with them, as well as Matt's son as well. So they're not pictured, but they were there. So just want to give a shout out. We had talked about they were going to do it. They were putting this flag. They're going to put the flag at different peaks that they go to on different hikes. So just want to give them a shout out. They did do it. They said they were going to do it. There they are, freezing their butts off doing it. So I did want to.
That's awesome. And you can find info on Steven's veteran organization on Rich's Twitter, 1600 Reasons Why, or where else can they find it?
I know you have it on yours on Periscope, and just pull up Mission 22 hiking project, or actually they're I take that back. Mission 22 is the partnership that they have with Mission 22, which is a big veterans project. Their 22 hiking project is what they are, and you can follow them on Facebook, and you can also look at that on Twitter for 1600 Reasons Why. So.
Absolutely. No nothing more important than helping veterans. So we're all about that.
Yeah.
So if you didn't know about that, check it out. Help out Steven. He's got a GoFundMe page trying to raise money to get the vets, you know, that are struggling up in the woods and start living again, you know?
Yeah, matter of fact, he bought some or leased some land out towards the coast for hunting. He wants to take veterans out there, do some hunting stuff and everything. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, I just want to throw this out there. Mike Smith is chiming in that he is in the hottest place in the Midwest right now at 5 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah, I know everywhere else is minus 30, 40, 50. I don't know where it's 5 degrees here, but I'm assuming that is north of the Mason-Dixon line where he's reaching at. So yeah, it's brutal. God bless the people that are actually having to work out in this.
Oh my
or
God.
be out in this.
All the homeless people, like up in Chicago, what is it, like minus 20 or something?
Yeah, and Dakota's minus 50, minus 60 even at some spots. So
my God, that is crazy. The only thing, you know, probably good about the weather when it's that cold in Chicago is all the thugs of all different colors. Let me throw that in there.
Right.
Can't come out and kill each other.
Yeah, exactly. It's too
kill
cold.
Innocent people, more like it.
Oh, Mike's in. He's up in Philly. There you go. Yo, Rocky.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so good deal.
Yes.
Brotherly love. There you go.
All right, what do we got, Rich?
Well, I just want to set the record straight on something that Alyssa Milano has here, as she tweeted after the president, after he blamed the recent devastating California wildfires on forest management. I just want to say, she said, guess who owns much of the forest land in California? Your federal agency. CA only owns 2%. Guess who cut funding to forest management in the budget? You did. The only reason why I want to, you know, when the gold rush started in California, timber was harvested, it was replaced, fires were suppressed because they threatened the homes. Okay, right. As of the 90s, because of increasing regulations, basically 60% of the federal land was not being. Now, this wasn't federal regulations. This is state regulations. Okay, that weren't allowing this to go on. So it kind of was killing the timber industry there and killed around 60% of it. And don't forget, a lot of this money in California for the wildfires was pilfered from the funds that were supposed to go into the forest management. And I won't say pilfered. I shouldn't say pilfered because obviously they need the money, but it was for the wildfires themselves. So the money they borrowed it from those funds to pay for wildfires that were out there in California. So the money was not available as far as that goes. So once again, her shooting off her mouth, but yeah,
Alyssa Milano, she's just a joke. And California, you know, we have a lot of followers out in California. I feel horrible for those people, especially the ones that voted to put, you know, Trump agenda people in and it didn't work out. You know, obviously they took the House. California, the officials need to get their crap together. I feel so bad for my viewers that live there, man. Yeah. They must feel like they live in another planet.
Oh, they must. And in regards to, once again, this, you know, when you have policies that are reducing the forest value to basically nothing out there, and as a hunter, you know, when you're protecting wildlife, you're protecting a tree, the white owl, whatever it is, just understand there's things that still need to be done, and you have to let some of this go on so stuff like this doesn't happen. It doesn't get out of control. So anyway, yeah. So that was one of the things. Another thing why we've been gone, and I find this kind of this was the Supreme Court decision, obviously, on the transgender. Now, obviously, we're a little late.
Transgender in the military.
Yeah, we're late in the game on this because, like I said, this is our first show. But I did want to point out one thing, and that is this. Gender dysphoria is a mental illness. It is by every medical research that I did, whether it be This Mental Health Matters, whether it be the Psych Central, whether it be WebMD, all of these say that it is example of it's a mental illness. So for them to uphold this, even the World Health Organization classifies transgender as a identity disorder. So for the people that are all up in arms that this has taken place, the military does not allow people with mental disorders into the thing, and to try to say that it's not a mental disorder, that is simply a choice, in my opinion, once again reduces the effectiveness of treatment for that disorder. Because if somebody is disillusioned about something, I've heard the analogy, if somebody thinks the toaster's talking to them, what do? Do you try to do you just say, oh yeah, it's talking to you, yeah, that's right, it is? Do you do them a service by doing that, or do you try to help them work through it and all this other stuff? Which, by the way, up in New York now, they've made it illegal for counselors to discuss with teenagers that come there for counseling. They're not allowed to tell them you can't classify as a disorder. You can't try to sway them back the other way. All you can do is ask them about how they feel, why they feel about it, and all that stuff. So, yeah.
Well, I'm glad you brought up New York, because obviously they just passed where you can a woman can have an abortion, you know, right up until the time of birth, which is just out of control.
That is insane.
I mean, you know, you got to remember, when you do things like this, it's only a matter of time before God just takes his hand off of us. You can't continue to do these things and think that God's protection will be on us. That's all I'm going to say on that.
That's right. Yeah. So, but it's craziness all around. I used to have a favorite basketball team, and it was, oh, well, actually, before we even talk about that, I want to talk about this guy right here. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Arami O.C. Fringpong. Okay.
Whoa.
Yeah. So basically, what happened was, in Syracuse, these kids were suspended because they were doing a skit. It was in bad taste. Actually, what the skit that the kids were doing was supposed to be showing a kid who was racist, homophobic, all this, over the top, militant, all this other stuff, okay?
Right.
So they did a skit showing that, and it was a satirical skit. But people complained, and then these kids got suspended from school for up to 2 years, and then if they want to go back to school, they have to write a 12-page essay on this, that, or the other. So they got thrown out at this fraternity, 16 frat students, for doing this skit. All right.
Wow.
And what I find funny is colleges will take action on these people for their speech, and yet this guy is he's an assistant professor at UGA, I'm sorry, University of Georgia, and he writes stuff like, killing some white people isn't genocide, it's killing some white people. We had to kill some white people to get out of slavery. Maybe if we'd killed more during the 20th century, we still wouldn't talk about racialized voter disenfranchisement and housing, education, and employment discrimination. This should not be controversial. Says stuff like, fighting white people is a skill. Really, it's one reason I'm in support of integrated schools. You have to get used to fighting white people. All right, and this guy has followers.
Amazing.
Oh, here's another thing. Some white people may have to die for black communities to be made whole in this struggle to advance freedom. This guy is on YouTube as we speak. He is on Twitter. He is on all these. If anybody was to, and this is and this school, now keep in mind, UGA is a state university. This is not a private school. So why is he allowed to espouse this stuff, and anybody else would get thrown out? I mean, now he got chastised for some of his views. He's still on there. So anyway.
Well, the double standards, continue. The double standards continue, and you won't see his page be shut down. They can pretty much get away with everything, and it's disgusting. Now, I always say, with these bad tweets or these bad, comments by these professors, just change the word out. Instead of saying white, say black, say Latino, say Muslim, and see how it flies. Oh. But for some reason, you say Christian, you say white, and it's all good. Yeah. But whatever.
Go back through any of those clips and insert that word in there, and the world and this world and the world will come apart as far as that goes.
Yeah. So, now you said in there something quick about voter suppression. Now, one thing that flew under the radar, which a lot of people know, I had said on somebody's show the other day, that apparently the Trump administration ended the council on looking into voter fraud because they were afraid of pushback, that it was looking like they were targeting minorities. Also, a lot of the states weren't giving up what they were asking for. So they just said, wasting money in legal battles, let's just end the council. No, I'm sorry. We elected you to fight, especially for voter fraud.
Yeah.
There's nothing more I would rather spend my tax dollars on than that. Since you're doing this Russian witch hunt, let's get this voter fraud out. And to find out that they ended that council, I was not happy about it at all.
Yeah, because here's the irony of that I don't understand. He's wanting to say, and I support my president. It's not even about that. But, man, something's got to actually get done, okay? And I don't want to hear about trust the plan thing. But here's the thing. You can say that it's costing too much money to pursue the legal battles for these states to get the information to be able to prove your voter fraud. But with fraudulent voters electing people that are doing nothing but spending taxpayer money, how much more money does it cost us in the end to not get to not do something about it? So I don't understand really what he's talking about. The legal battles need to be fought, okay?
No, they need to be fought, especially since we just lost the House and everybody, you know, is pretty positive that, you know, there was voter fraud that happened to. So what? We're not going to do nothing about voter fraud?
Yeah. Especially when you know that it's right.
It's memory. It's not now. I have spoke on this many times, and me and Rich have discussed this. Just because we are not happy with some of the things President Trump does, whether, you know, he opened the government and people say he caved or whatever, it doesn't mean I don't support my president and I'm not going to vote for him, because there is no alternative, by the way. Yeah. So one thing on this show, we don't have a problem discussing some things we're not happy with President Trump. We're not Trump sycophants. We're not a cult here. Right. You know, he's a man like anybody else. I'll support him until he screws up. Then I'll boot his ass out of there with my vote. Yeah, it is.
And I have a problem with one of the, you know, they said that the approval rating had gone down. What was it, to 57% or something like? You know, here's my thing.
During the shutdown, you mean?
Yeah, during the shutdown. You open back up the government, guess what? Those people still don't like you. And now you've just alienated the base who were supporting you, the 43% that were on board with, let's have this out, let's get it done once and for all, rather than pussyfoot around and you know, bring it back. And
well, a lot of people will push back on that and say if they're alienated just because President Trump opened the government, they weren't real Trump supporters and whatever. My thing is, this is probably going to be controversial, but I personally think he opened it up because Nancy Pelosi said he can't have his State of the Union speech. And, you know, Trump loves his rallies. I almost feel like he opened it up. For one, he does care about the people not getting paid. And it kind of puts the Democrats in a corner, which is another angle. But me personally, just my feeling is he opened it up so he could have his speech, because he don't not having speech.
Not have the speech, or Twitter's got to allow him to have more characters. And then
I think he's doing an awesome job. Other than that, getting so many things done, keeping his promises. Has he made mistakes? Hell yeah. Is he going to make more mistakes? Yeah. But you know, he does have an ego, and when you tell him he can't do his speech, could be one of the reasons.
Well, and I don't even see where they're even getting close. I mean, he's already said if the negotiations that they're having doesn't come out with a physical barrier, and from everything that I've seen out of the appropriations meetings agenda right now, where they're saying we're going to put more, we're going to invest more smart security, better electronic screening. We're going to put more customs agents. Custom agents are not border patrol, okay? Right. Custom agents are people standing at a gate. The smart technology for checking identification is only at the gate. This isn't about what happens at ports of entries. This is what happens when people are shuffling across the Rio Grande to come into the country. So I agree with him as far as if it doesn't consist of a physical barrier, it is a completely worthless conversation. And
you notice they dropped the whole it's racist the wall is racist and all that. They don't really say that anymore because once Mexico said we don't want them here, that whole racist thing went right out the window. You got brown people that don't want brown people. So the whole angle that the media was saying, you know, Trump just doesn't want brown people in America went right out the window when Mexicans were saying we don't want them here. You know?
That's hilarious. Yeah, no, you're absolutely right about that. And by the way, if anybody has been chatting, Restream.io has not been showing any chats. It wiped out the ones that were there. So I'm sure that there's a lot of good information.
Have you tried to refresh it?
Yeah, I've been refreshing it a few times here. I'll go back and do it again.
Yes. While you're doing that, I will say again, welcome if you're just joining. And if you're frustrated because we're ignoring your chat, we're not. We just can't see it. I, on my end, can only run Zoom. I'm using a hotspot on my phone till I get my internet correct. Rich is trying to see all the chat, but we're not ignoring you. You know, I love to hear from you guys. You can actually go on Choose Total News or 1600 Reasons Why on Twitter and check us out there and yell at us for ignoring the chat.
Yes. Yes. So one of the things, a basketball team I used to like and now I have a problem with, Notre Dame. Okay. Did you hear what happened at Notre Dame?
Oh, yeah. They took down some murals or something because Christopher Columbus is racist too.
Yeah. This thing was painted. Yeah. The mural was a depiction of Columbus as a beneficial explorer, friend of the native people. And then they're talking about just, I don't know. It's just the demonization of anybody who came over here. You're going to take this paint. Well, actually, they're not taking it down. They can only cover it. It was drawn in 1882. So if they were to actually take that wasn't the mural either. The mural actually depicts more than that. That was just a picture.
You know, this is a problem. The pussification of our country. I mean, trying to wipe out history, and if you don't look at history, then you deemed to repeat it, right? So, I mean, you can't just keep hiding everything that you know. Where does it stop? Then you're going to change the name of Washington D.C. because Washington owned slaves. Where does it stop?
Yeah, could you? That was pussificate. Could you spell that?
Yeah, pussificate. You know how to spell it.
Yeah, nah, you're absolutely right about that. It's yeah.
Yeah, Notre Dame. Sad. My Irish brotherhood.
Yes. And
all right, what else we got? We got so much. We haven't done a broadcast in like months, bro.
Well, we'll just cover a couple things and then we'll call it, because obviously at this point we could go on for such a long time. So let's go to another thing. People are over the top, and don't forget, people, this whole socialism, and me and Jake were talking about it before the show, and we can talk a little bit now. This socialism movement is really gaining traction. It's something that needs to be feared. I know I talked about postmodernism. That's where this is being ushered in. It's just another version of Marxism. But
before you go, I want to talk about the new poll out today.
Okay.
Where they polled 18-year-olds to 29-year-olds, and like 60% approve of socialism. I mean, this is dangerous, man. This is dangerous. They don't get it. But then when you tell those same people that are like, oh yeah, free healthcare for everybody and free college and all that, and then you go, well, we're going to take 70% of your paycheck because you care so much about helping everybody out, and then they're like, oh no, I don't like that.
Well, yeah. And you know what? That's a good point. Matter of fact, I'll skip to this one real quick since you talked about where the money's going. So the University of California Santa Barbara is seeking new LGBTQAI, whatever, program. They're going to pay this person $57,000 of your hard-earned tuition money, all right, to identify with intersections of multiple identities, as well as serve advocate for students who identify as LGBTQIA. To the university staff, they're responsible for developing, implementing, and overseeing programs aimed at addressing political, social, emotional, and physical trends for all the needs of those people. And it's like, wow. And then you got Washington State here. This is how stupid it is. The university fraternity is under fire for cultural appropriation after shirtless members serenaded sororities in grass skirts during a charity fundraiser. So this was college kids just dressing up in the Hawaiian skirt thing, serenading these sorority sisters for a charity. for a charity,
Right.
and now they're being hammered for cultural appropriation. I mean, how
So
ludic-
toga parties are probably out too because you're offending the Greeks or whatever.
Yeah, and kids aren't going to be able to play
I
cowboys
mean,
and Indians anymore.
let's just there and then just not live.
Yeah. So,
I mean, it's crazy, bro.
that's-
What is going on? This is scary.
yeah, that's pretty much where we're at in this society.
And you have AOC, who supports, government health care, and then of course, what's the senator, the woman we were talking about?
Oh yeah, hold on. Which because I can never pronounce her name, Taliba or Taliban.
No, I'm talking about the one that said she's running in 2020. Kamala Harris.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, she had to walk back a statement saying that we need to do away with private health care and just go full out government because that always works.
Oh yeah.
You always get the best, results out of government run anything.
Oh,
What a joke.
Social Security, Medicare, it's all been great. It's been fantastic. And you were talking about down in South Florida. Now, I will say this. That Rashida Tlaib, I'm going to say, and we're way late on this because this has already been hashed out a thousand times, but I'm going to say she's a piece of trash. And it's not just for the fact that she calls for Trump's impeachment, but for the fact that she talks as if she's having a motherly conversation with her son. All right. And the son is like, look, mommy, the bad guys don't always win. You got elected. And she's like, yeah, we're going to go up there and we're going to impeach that MNFer. And I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, what a role model you are for his son.
Yeah, she's a piece of work.
Yeah. And you said just bringing up the next generation of the Taliban indoctrinating. And then Annabelle Lima gets in trouble down at, where's that, down in Florida?
Yes.
Because
in South Florida, she was in hell because she was pointing out that this lady had said bad things about Israel. She's kind of hangs with people from like the Muslim Brotherhood and stuff, and now she's catching all kind of hell for just pointing out facts.
Yeah,
that's all she did.
And
She's
her
not allowed to do that anymore.
And an opinion. So, but what I was going to say about AOC is I thought it was funny that the liberal group Justice Democracy was pushing for where were they trying to put them? Acacia, they were trying to put on the Ways and Means panel, that Tlaib or whatever Appropriations Committee, and Porter on the financial services. However, the senior lawmakers said, no, we don't care who you are. You don't get those senior positions just walking in here as freshmen. So they got shot down on that, and now they got relegated to financial services, which was struggling to fill positions anyway. So they got put on that, which they're going to be damaging in any position they're put in, which is what people need to think when they go to these polls, is that you got to stop these people from getting in any positions because they're going to be damaging no matter where they're put. So there you go.
It's pretty bad. We really need to focus right now.
Yeah.
Focus on getting, people that want the Trump agenda. I'm really upset that they're not really cracking down on voter fraud, that they just, dissolved the council. That's really upsetting to me. Another thing is everybody's like, don't worry, when they don't make a deal, to get the wall funding, and they don't, Trump will shut down the government, and then he's gonna, do an executive order, and then he's gonna have the military build the wall. I don't like that. I'm sorry, I don't like it.
No.
We didn't like it when Obama did it, and we shouldn't like it when Trump does it. There's ways to do things in government. If they don't get it done, then they need to be voted out.
Right.
The answer is not the president writes executive orders. It's not the way it goes. We should not be happy about that. We wouldn't like it when they did it. We didn't like it, and we shouldn't be happy now just because it fits our thing. So it's not the way to do things.
No.
And that's how you slowly chip away at the separation of powers, and that's how we lose our country.
Yeah, plus it's a temporary solution to a permanent problem, and what's going to end up happening is that the next person is going to come in and just rescind that, and that's why there needs to be a permanent solution put in place, and that's why I was saying, have it out, and how many 400,000 non-essential personnel? I'm going to tell you something. I think one of the things that's good that could come out of this is the reevaluation of a lot of these government positions, how much they actually are needed, because we know the waste that goes on in government, and actually, get rid of a lot of the stuff that was found to be, because except for if you flew or if you were getting a check from the government, I don't think a lot of people personally that I knew really saw much from the government shutdown. So if you privatize some of this so that it is bulletproof against a government shutdown, such as air traffic control, TSA, whatever you want to do as far as that goes, you get some of that stuff under lock and key, cut a lot of the, how much do you say? But that's not big government. And if it's not big government, then that doesn't serve the liberal faction, because they need the power. They need people to be looking towards them. So anyway.
Now I will say this though. I do recognize that the heroin epidemic and all the child trafficking and all that you would think, national emergency and executive order, even if it's done for a year or 2 or 3, how many lives it would save. So I do agree with that.
Absolutely.
I mean, I do understand there is a national emergency here. Even one kid being trafficked or one person overdosing. I just don't want to get into the habit of the Democrats doing executive orders and the Republicans doing executive orders, and then we get away from working together, which we know they're not going to work with Trump anyway. It's just a dangerous road to go down. It's how you will lose a country. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. We just had a 25-year-old got buried today. Good-looking kid, bright future, all that. OD'd on heroin, and no longer with us. So, and in some of the counties around where I live, they have the highest incidence of heroin overdoses in the country. So these are tough times, and the only trust the plan. The only plan I trust is God, and just keep praying and stay positive, and that's all you can do. Now, I will cover something real quick. I didn't want to cover, but I'm going to touch base to it. There's a guy who has a pretty big profile, who put out a tweet, and he was saying that Catholics, not Catholics, but Christians.
Christians. Brought us young men dancing on stages and men throwing it. The guy's a clown. The guy's a clown. And now he's trying to walk it back or say he was just doing that to prove what hypocrites Christians are. And then all his clown friends wouldn't, call him out on it. They were making excuses for him and saying, we ought to pray for our enemies. But it's funny. I don't see them praying for the people they're against, like other people. But they're going to say, well, we're not going to attack him. We need to pray for him. That's what Christians do. They're all clowns. They're all grifters and jokes. Good luck with that. You're a clown.
Yeah, I'd like to just interject a couple points on that as well. So here's what I would say. You know what has young boys dancing on top of tables? Okay?
Sin.
Not only sin has them dancing on top of tables, but when Johnny has questions about his sexuality and you start doing hormone therapy at the age of 6 and 7, that's one of the things. Let me tell you something about true Christians, actually people that actually follow the faith.
Well, real quick, Christianity didn't bring this.
No, it didn't. And
that to our country, evil did. And that guy is a clown and a joke, and he's just a shock value. He just thinks for shock and drama, and all his clown friends back him. And you guys know who I'm talking about. So.
Yeah, and those same Christians have slowed down the demise of this civilization's destruction for years and years without the Christian values, without the 10 Commandments. Matter of fact, I want you to read them and then tell me which one is bad, which one is horrendous and shouldn't ever be uttered as far as a moral value that someone should uphold. So, and to say that, oh, well, if you rage against me for saying it, then you're then you're not no. Christians aren't sheep. They're not led.
I'm sorry, but isn't that a whole nother level of being a loser when you intentionally? I know other scopers that do this. When you intentionally put stuff out there that enrages people, and then you go, "Oh, look, you're not a real Christian. You attacked me, and you didn't pray for me." When you do that on purpose, knowing you're going to get that, and then you throw it in people's faces, you're just a whole nother level of loser. Lisping freak.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's what Serpent did in Adam and Eve's time too. So anyway,
exactly. I mean, so moving on. I wasn't even going to cover that, but a lot of people were talking about it. This was our first chance. To cover it and stuff. It's all to them. And the people that back that crap, and you guys know who I'm talking about, the one with a record a mile long, they're all about clicks and books and followings and donations. They're grifters, man. That's what they do.
Well, yeah, and I'll have to go back because we had talked about that earlier. I had not seen it, and I got to go look at it because I would like to have a lot more to say. Yeah. So, yeah, but you know what? I think that was a good positive note to close on, actually.
Yeah.
No,
yeah,
I'm serious. I'm glad you call him out for it. So that's good. So
absolutely, and I'm no better than anybody. You know what I mean? I'm a sinner like anybody else. But the games these people play, and I'm surprised people even still follow these people. It's crazy to me.
Right. Well,
fat shaming people, and then in the next, fat shaming, and then I'm a life coach. Right after I just fat shamed everybody. I found that to work when you fat shame women. It works. I know what I'm doing and you're stupid. Or, fat shaming people and then saying I'm a Christian and it's
wow.
like, what are you talking about? All in the same broadcast too, by the way.
Wow, you'll have to tell me who that was when we get off, because somebody who calls himself a life coach and then fat shames somebody.
Yeah. Well, there was a famous quote. If that guy's your life coach, you're already dead. I like that quote. So anyway.
Love it.
So,
all
right,
hey,
man.
wait, hold on. Before we go, in all my refreshing, we did get something come up. Glevorkian's round, so very sad and sick. That he's GLAYY.
Yeah, how's it going?
Yeah.
Welcome. Yeah, he was very upset about that stuff too.
Good. I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah, he speaks out. He's a good man.
Awesome. Well, listen, he came. I don't know if he's been listening or he came in on the tail end, but I'm glad he showed up anyway.
Good.
Guys, we're gonna get this back on track. We got to get satellite or something out so we can reach him. The infrastructure where he's at, the cable just not a supporting internet. We try to to do the data, the data off the phone thing. So if the voice
I'm using my phone. If you're just joining, I'm using my phone as a hotspot to run Zoom, and I can't open up apps, so I cannot see your chat. We were explaining that in the beginning of the broadcast. So.
On the positive note, luckily before all this happened, he did upgrade the phone, so we were at least able to do this. So that's great. Otherwise, it would be sad. So anyway,
we'll get it straight, and I'm just glad to be, to come back, and I always enjoy doing this with my boy Rich here, and to see everybody. I can't wait to go back and read the chat of all 10 people that watched our broadcast.
It's archive footage. This is archive footage.
That's right.
Hey guys,
you guys have a great night, and God bless.
Yeah, thanks. We appreciate you being here. It's cold. You could have been curled up somewhere else reading a book. You listened to us. Thank you. And hey, we'll see you the next time. It won't be as long. Trust me. We'll be back soon because you can't keep Jay quiet anyway. Nor should you. And enjoyed being here. You take care now.
I would like to begin with a poem in old-fashioned. Be good to us, and we will be good to you. Be good to us, and we will be good. I would like to begin with a poem in old-fashioned meter. Be good to us, and we will be good to you. Be good to